So I'm just going to get started as we've hit one on the button. So hello and welcome to everyone in attendance for our webinar today. This is the last event in our 2022 Emerging Trends in Digital Engineering series. We are joined by the lovely Emma Lacey from Reliance Automation, who is going to discuss the digital automation tendering process that they have, and Emma personally has developed at Reliance Automation. I know it's her baby and she's very excited to talk to you today about it. So just to note that we've had a very successful series this year, and thank you to anyone who's been in attendance to any of the webinars. I just want to bring attention to the recordings that we have for each of the events. If you have missed any of them or you want to go back on anything that was covered, we had our first event in March, which looked at modern methods of construction. Second event in May, which had a focus on the digital twin that they're using in Smart DCU campus. And then just last month, we were joined by John Rains from McDonald Engineers, and he discussed digital innovation. So as I mentioned, all of these recordings are available on our YouTube channel. And I'll also share the link to that page following the event today, along with the recording from today's event. So just as well, to introduce Emma, she is the Marketing and Business Development Manager at Reliance Automation, which are Ireland's leading automation equipment supply partner. In researching for the topics for these events, I attended a Reliance Automation roadshow in Dungarvan on a very wet and rainy September morning, and this was one of the topics that they covered, and I thought it would be an excellent topic to share with our members and how it might benefit the end user. So just before I pass to Emma, just to note again that yes, the event is going to be recorded. I will share shortly with you after. Also, we will make time at the end of the presentation for Q&A. And if you do have any questions for Emma about the product or how to use it, if you can use the Q&A function at the bottom toolbar on Zoom, and we'll aim to answer any questions. And then last but not least, just a note to record the CPD hours for the webinar. So I'm just going to pass over to Emma now for our presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm just going to share my screen. And hopefully everyone can see this presentation okay. And for some reason, it is technical reasons, obviously, going to the wrong slide. All right, let me just, sorry, 1 second now. Starting here. Okay. So automation tenders I'm going to talk about, but first of all, I just want to talk a little bit about Reliance Automation and where automation tenders came from. It really has grown out of a process that we do anyway, but when COVID hit, it became a lot more important for us to digitalize a process that we already carried out. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background about who Reliance Automation are, what this process is. So Reliance Automation is Ireland's leading automation supply partner, equipment supply partner, and we actually are part of the Reliance Bearing and Gear Company group, which is nearly 100 years old now. So we have a wide range of different solutions, and it's important to note as well that we're not integrators. We are suppliers of automation equipment. We supply either direct to an end user who self-integrates or to a machine builder. And that's a really important point because it will become apparent why I suppose automation tenders will work for those two end users. We don't integrate, but we do work with about 20 partners across Ireland. who would be partners of ours. So we're trusted for generations since 1922 in the equipment engineering side of things. And, Reliance would be a big name in agriculture and industry as well for bearings and gears and that sort of thing. And we are very, focused on cost-effective solutions as well. And we only offer top quality leading brands. So just an idea, I suppose, of the type of products that we do supply. You've probably heard of cobots, or as they're known, collaborative robots. Industrial robots we supply as well. So we supply Nachi, which is a Japanese brand of industrial 6-axis robot or 4-axis robot. And they were actually made originally for Toyota. They would be leading brand in China and America mainly. We supply other collaborative solutions like the Weezo, which is a high-speed spider type robot that is collaborative and actually is mobile as well. So if any of these solutions, I'm not going to go into them in too much detail, but if anyone wants any information on any more of these, please do reach out to me. We have collaborative palletizer there that's on robot, which is basically requires no guarding. It's very useful for a small space where you require palletizing solution, and it's easily programmed as well for an end user. We have a range of grippers from OnRobot, which would be probably known as one of the most innovative end of arm tool companies that's out there in Denmark, and they're always coming out with new innovative solutions. Mobile robots, so we supply the MIR, Mobile Industrial Robot, which is an AMR. Again, is a collaborative solution, doesn't need guarding, it doesn't need tracks to be dug out in the floor. It's run on something like a GPS system, like on your phone. You can map the area and move it around and that sort of thing. We supply unscramblers. We have one there, FlexiBowl, which again is another innovative solution. You can put one or more parts on the FlexiBowl and it can be picked by vision. So you don't only have one part on the same FlexiBowl. We have Cobot Lift there, which basically extends the payload that can be lifted with a cobot or a collaborative robot up to 40 kilos. And it's a very reasonably priced solution. We also are partners with Bosch Rexroth, so we provide guarding and conveyors and other equipment such as the Cognex. You probably see the Cognex system there, vision systems, or we're partnered with SMC Pneumatics. We also supply electric actuators. So that'll give you a bit of an idea as to what we do. There's an awful lot in it. Okay, why would you automate? Everyone probably knows this at this stage. Dangerous tasks like heavy lifting, things like testing COVID samples, dirty and dusty environments, dull jobs, so place, difficult, intricate assembly, like putting parts together in a catheter or something like that. Obviously, automation improves quality and consistency. You can increase demand as well. You can run 3 shifts, 24/7 lights out operations with automation. A huge issue at the moment is a lack of available workforce. We see it in particular in the meat industry. A lot of industries are having the same issue all across the world. So no longer is automation, and certainly as far as I've ever known, it's never replaced jobs, but it's filling roles that are there to be done, and it's redeploying workers to more value-added tasks. And a lot of our customers as well, in particular in the pharmaceutical industry, have a lack of available space. They're just at capacity in the site they're at, and sometimes they have to expand upwards as opposed to outwards, and make use of smaller spaces through automation. Future proofing as well. So something that came up, I guess, with COVID as well, is that 2 meter distancing was never an issue for the likes of a production line, where operators could work much more closely together, whereas now that's much more of an issue for 2 meter distancing, and you might have something like a person working in collaboration with a robot as well to future proof. So the types of applications that we normally come across, and again, as I said, we would be the ones who might, we would work directly with as a partner with the end user, whether they either self-integrate or integrate through a machine builder. We still would be very, very, it's very important to us, I suppose, to have a very strong relationship with our customers. So we often go out and we would specify projects through a site visit or a site audit, and then we would come back and we would offer some kind of solutions, whether that be through self-integration, as I say, or we would contact one of our 20 more than one actually, usually of our 20 partners, so they could come back with maybe 3 quotations, and 3 not only quotations, because it's not always obviously return on investment is important, but obviously also is the solution. And 3 different integrators or 2 different integrators will come back with 2 different solutions. So a solution might work better, and maybe the payoff is that the price is slightly different or whatever. So we can come back with 3 different quotes for the end user, and then work alongside with them for the end project. So types of projects we're looking at: assembly, dispensing, packaging, palletizing, finishing, machine to ending, pick and place inspection. Anything really in the automation space is what we look at. And I suppose this is what we've been doing for the last 15 years or so, when we've been kind of hands-on with automation and robotics in particular. And that leads into, I suppose, how we digitize it in the automation tender. So just to give you an idea as well, getting more into the types of applications that we do look at, I'm going to play some videos here. This one is quite a long one. The other ones are not as long. So hopefully they'll work and come across okay.
In product assembly,
As one of the world's largest manufacturers of bathroom accessories, Runner Industrial Corporation places special emphasis on time to market and product quality. We are devoted to developing leading-edge automation technologies that contribute to a highly efficient, flexible, and reliable production line. Our goal is to meet market demand by upgrading the efficiency of the production process. Universal Robots surprised us with their efficiency and quality, which is much higher than traditional robots.
in the past year, Runner has installed more than 60 UR robots in their production line. There are various applications which include robots working in tandem, in product assembly, product pick and place processes, injection molding, degating, heat welding and gas testing, pre-placing of parts, automatic pick and place, vision-guided pick and place, and robots on slides managing injection molding machines. With so many steps in the assembly process, it is difficult for most single-arm robots to do everything efficiently. That isn't a problem in this setup with two UR robots working in tandem. With flexible joints and compact size, they take up very little room, so two different arms can share the same space, enabling the entire process to be accurate and flexible. When assembling a product, the robot first takes the nut from the vibration disc exit and places it into the point, picks up the part to be machined, and then finally removes it. With the UR robot joints capable of 360-degree rotation in each direction, the robot handles the assembly process requiring great flexibility. A UR robot was inverted and installed in the same space as a small disc workstation. After the screw is tightened, the robot takes out the finished product and chooses the position depending on the condition of the conveyor. One UR10 robot can complete 4 processes: injection molding, degating, heat welding, and gas testing, while a traditional production worker typically does only one process and leaves the semi-finished products to be passed on to the next process via the turnover box. When pre-inserting a part, a UR robot can operate 3 sets of injection molding machines. Utilizing a tool mounted with 6 grippers and a flexible wrist joint, the robot can quickly switch to any loading position. Using the high flexibility elbow joint, the gripper moves from above to free up horizontal movement. This UR robot is equipped with a vision system to locate parts. Just put a part on the conveyor, and the visual system determines its type and locates position. This data is transmitted to the robot, which picks up the part, reducing the need for manpower in the feeding process. Fitting a UR robot on a slide rail can extend its effective reach. The rail eliminates the need to move a heavy fixed machine and supports a multi-workstation operation. A robot can automate the process by managing multiple injection molding machines. This saves labor cost while improving efficiency.
The high installation and maintenance cost of traditional industrial robots worried us before we discovered universal robots. Their low energy consumption and no need for safety fences freed us from having to rebuild our existing production line. The simplified programming process allowed us to continue every operation without the help of a specialized programmer. Universal Robots has significantly reduced our cost.
A universal robot can be installed, adjusted, and put into production fast. It takes less than an hour to redeploy a UR robot. With UR, a new project can be up and running in a week, while it takes as much as 6 months to get a traditional robot ready. Universal Robots' production efficiency also saves time and helps us cope with dynamic market demands.
The company works hard to create a work environment that supports the health and development of employees who are working with UR robots side by side. The robots free the employees from heavy and repetitive work.
Cobots are a powerful innovation in the industrial manufacturing sector, enabling automated production with unprecedented flexibility. As cobots develop and are widely adopted, automation will no longer be associated with the mass production of standardized products. Automated production lines will allow low volumes of various customized products. I am very positive about the prospect of universal robots.
So that gives a good idea, I suppose, of the types of projects that can be out there, not necessarily full production lines, maybe full production lines, but parts of an automation process can be automated. And that just, I suppose, gives an idea more so of the universal robots, cobots. So we also would do the MIR, which are mobile industrial robots, and I'll just talk you through that one here. The MIR can go from anything really from 100 kilo payload up to a MIR that is 1,800 kilos, which can basically carry, it can carry pallets full of product. And they can also be used in places like clean rooms. So there's no need for degowning and regowning if something has to be transported from one area to another. So you can see here, it's transporting medicines from the lab to the other departments. There's no need for this lady here in the video to call someone to come, a porter or whatever. There's no time wasted, and obviously it's saving somebody running around the production facility as a full-time job. So you can see here that there's a top module on the MIR. That's a MIR 100, 100 kilos. So it has a hook on the top of it. And can pull crates behind it like that. So you're not limited just to what the MIR can carry on the top of it. It's basically moving one place to another. It can integrate then with your conveyors and, as I say, move product around. And if you just note as well there that this is going to self-charge now, because it's it sees that, you know, it needs to charge, and then you have fleet software then that will tell a second MIR that the first one is charging and the second MIR needs to jump in then and carry out the tasks. So that's the AGV MIR that we have. I'm just touching on these lightly. If anyone wants more information, please feel free to reach out. And then we have some palletizing, which is, I'll just give you a quick look at Nachi industrial robot. And for anyone who doesn't know the difference, I suppose, between an industrial and a collaborative robot doesn't need got off the sound there. And sorry, a universal or collaborative robot doesn't need guarding. It has all of the safety features included, and it runs at collaborative speed, so it can work alongside humans basically without the need for guarding if it's in collaborative mode and it has a collaborative gripper. And we do provide all of those. But this one here is an industrial robot. As you can see there, the yellow guarding around it. It generally would move at faster speeds. It would carry higher payload. It's much more of an industrial robot that's of that size. Nachi robots go from anything from 1 kilo payload up to absolutely huge industrial robots, which would be used like in the automotive industry here. This one that you can see is palletizing, obviously. And you can see there the gripper on it would be a customized gripper. So there would have to be an integrator or a machine builder involved in that project, or anything really for industrial robots. There would be an integrator involved, mainly because it's much more complex programming, building and integrating that whole system, and obviously building the gripper as well. So that would be an example of the type of project that we would work with an end user, and we would bring in 2 to 3 machine builders for such a project, because first of all they'll come up with 2 or 3 different ideas of, you know, how they would automate something, designs and all that kind of thing. They would have to write the program themselves, and it'd have different costs. So look, you know, they'll all come up with different ideas of I suppose coming to a solution to a problem. But the idea is then with automation tenders and with working with Reliance Automation up and before automation tenders was a thing, I suppose, that we do work with different integrators to be able to kind of come to that point. So just a quick overview then before we move on of the leading brands that Reliance would work with. And I would say that we probably are the most brand agnostic or most robot agnostic company that there is in Ireland, because, you know, we will look at a project and we will, for the project's sake, we can identify fairly quickly if it is a project that is suitable for either a collaborative robot or an industrial robot, because both have different benefits. You know, for example, like a universal robot can be much easier to program. I don't have an engineering background per se. I have a business background, and I can program a universal robot. So I couldn't even tell you where to start if I was programming an industrial robot. But I would say that they definitely have their own benefits, and, you know, we would definitely recommend whatever the best solution is for your budget and for, you know, the process that you want to achieve, as opposed to what robot we get the best margin on, which really isn't the way we work. And we very much would partner, as I said, with our end users and customers for the greater good and for the long-term project of, you know, automation of the whole site, or whatever way we can support you that way. So moving on then to automation tenders, and I suppose how this feeds into automation tenders is, as you can see there, we've been doing the same process for many years, where we have gone in on site physically, done an audit, looked at different potential, we'll say, automation processes, and we would have then given, you know, advice and support as to, you know, we think you need this, or we think you need that, or, you know, we think it'll cost this much and this will be your return on investment, and whatever it is. And we would bring in partners that we had, you know, they would then go in and do a site visit or whatever. But obviously when COVID hit, that all went down the Swanee, because you know, there were nobody was allowed on site, you know, and there were issues then obviously with people getting COVID, and half the staff were missing, and all of those issues, and let's not drag it all back up again. But what I would say is, you know, at that time, we were in Ireland is more known, I suppose, for food and beverage companies and pharmaceutical companies and medical device companies, which were not suffering really in the times of the COVID. So, you know, we still had to get our production out for pharmaceuticals, for example. So they still had to automate, and they very much were put under pressure to automate at that time, because they needed to future-proof, and they needed to make sure that their staff were 2-meter distanced, and that if there was an outbreak on a shift, they were able to still meet their production goals. So I suppose at that time, just because, you know, people like us that were able to help give advice on automation weren't able to get on site, the companies at the end users still had to automate. So we had to come up with an idea as to how we're going to move the process along without getting on site. And hence then came the idea of automation tenders. Automation tenders, I suppose, it's an online portal for tendering for automation projects, really. It brings the machine builder and the end user customer together. We are in the middle to facilitate, and because we have relationships with both, we partner with both machine builders and with end users. So I suppose that's really in a nutshell how it works. So just to kind of be an overview of what it's all about. So connects the projects. It's very quick, easy, and convenient. And we spent time going through the types of questions that needed to be asked in order, you know, for an end user customer to come up with a user requirement specification of what they really needed and what are the main things they need out of a project, what are the pain points, and how do we find a solution to those. It opens the market up as well to new vendors. So if there's anyone out there, I suppose, that is a machine builder that's listening, you will know that sometimes, you know, a lot of companies have a preferred list that they use for vendors, and a lot of the time they're not even Irish based. They're going outside to Germany or Portugal or France or wherever it is to just buy from who they always buy from. And, you know, while there is the expertise and the knowledge in Ireland, and more importantly, there's the local support in Ireland, a lot of the time the machine builders in Ireland don't know about the project and aren't getting the opportunities. So things are changing. I think that, you know, local support has become a lot more important for the end user as well. So they're starting to look more at Ireland as a place to offer these solutions for the end user. So again, opens up the market. Business development is a good resource for machine builders. So a lot of the time the machine builders or integrators don't have the time and they don't have the knowledge or expertise to go out there and put themselves, you know, out there in terms of marketing. So this puts them out there so they can get access to any of the projects that are ongoing. You can gain, as an end user, you can gain 3 quotations for your project, which can be difficult because obviously you can't give it to everyone. You can only give it to one vendor. But because we have relationships with all of these vendors, they still have maintained their relationship with us, regardless of whether they're successful or not in the tendering process. They're still getting work. You know, at the end of the year, if you tot it all up, they're still getting work. Machine builders' capabilities then. So there's various different capabilities. You'll have machine builders who are really good with SMEs, or they do a lot of work with multinationals, or they work with pharma, or they work with food, or they work with smaller projects and expertise, maybe bespoke expertise, or maybe they have very strong expertise for projects that might be, you know, 20 million worth or something like that. So it's huge, varies hugely. And also experience and interested automation vendors too, which is important, that they're interested and they have the time and resources to carry out the type of project that may be relevant. So the immediate access to a user requirement specification, deadlines and targets and budgets. So that's important too for a machine builder, that they can see, is this a realistic project? Is the budget realistic for what the expectations are? If it's not, how can we work around it, and how can we help to sort of give the best solution to the problem that's there? So it obviously saves an awful lot of time for both the machine builders and the end users. So again, we're kind of going over a lot of the same things here. So it access to real-time projects. The projects that are up there are relevant, they're real-time projects. If someone has signed up then as a machine builder, they will get access to whatever projects are there, and it's up to them if they want to you know, quote for that or not. They're in specific industries, they're specified scope and size. The URS has been formulated and the timeline information is there, saving a lot of time. So, and again, Machine builders are very, very stretched at the moment too, because there's just not enough of them out there. They're just very, very busy. So for engineers with projects, you can request quotes for automation projects, get support in formulating your URS. And I'm going to show you that in a little while at the end of the presentation. We're going to go online and we're going to have a look at exactly how this works and how you formulate the URS. So it asks you the right type of questions for the information that you need to feed back to the machine builders in order for them to give you a budget quote. You'll get 3 budget quotes. If you like the idea and you like if they're in the right ballpark, you can then contact the machine builder. You can sign your NDA at that stage, and then they can come up with some kind of a design. And then they're Irish-based machine builders, and again, interested and experienced. So the reason why, I guess, this has come out of Reliance Automation is, as I said, it's a digital way of doing what we were doing anyway, but it just makes things a lot more easy and quick and effective for everyone involved. And just to say as well, actually, it's the very first time in Ireland. It's a very innovative project, because there's nothing like this existing in Ireland or in the UK, as far as I know. So it does move things along very quickly, and it's a quite effective way to do things. So as I said before, Reliance is almost 100 years old, so you're getting access to the highly experienced industrial automation expertise of the team. The audit of the production process area has already been done by ourselves who have the expertise, and as I say, we can offer advice on the right type of equipment we feel is needed. I mentioned already as well that we are probably as agnostic as it gets with regards to the type of equipment that we feel is necessary. We will be objective. It includes all brands of robots. You will get support then in compiling the user requirement specification, the support in submitting your project on the portal, and it's a concrete digital method of supporting customers and partners. So while we did it before, now there's proof. So we aim to attract all major suppliers, Irish integrators, and manufacturing companies to the portal. So the types of projects we do, again, as I said, we looked into this a little bit before in the projects that we do in general. The types of projects we can support on this portal are here: assembly, dispensing, finishing, machine tending, pick and place, etc. But to sign up, okay, so for automation vendors, it's the same, I guess, as what we would do anyway, but we look for a list of up to 3 automation process skill sets. So in other words, we can quickly identify what you're good at and as a machine builder, and what you've done before and what's been successful. So we like you to kind of say, yeah, we want pick and place projects, we want palletizing projects, and whatever it is. The scope of the project that you're capable of fulfilling. So sometimes, maybe a smaller automation company would be better at building bespoke machines, or that would be their skill set. Or maybe they're used to integrating only industrial robots. Maybe they're experienced in coding, with certain types of equipment. So we'll say they only know how to program a robot using, a Nachi system or whatever it is, or they only use Mitsubishi, or they only use Siemens PLCs, or whatever it is. If there is a stipulation from an end user that they only want to use a Siemens PLC, well, then we know that, and then we know who to go to. So those are important things. And I think, and the scope of the project as well. So, while everyone would love to take on a 20 million project, you don't want to shut your company down on the basis of it. So yeah, really it's the scope. So we look for testimonials. Obviously, we do a credit check because, for obvious reasons, it's important that if we're involved in the process and these are customers that we've seeked out, that we can stand behind the machine builder as well. An interview, but in general, we would have very good, strong relationships with the machine builders anyway. But it's just if somebody we're not aware of already that wants to come on board with this, and a signed membership agreement. So at that stage, then, once they're signed up, they will receive alerts for new projects, and we would be in contact very, very regularly to discuss anything that's coming out of this automation tenders portal. And then you just put in your budget quote. So like that's not a huge requirement, as in it doesn't need to be a very detailed quote. It's a budget quote only. Obviously there's wiggle room up or down with something like that. An idea of how you feel, you know, what you feel would be included in the cell, and how you feel you might design something like that. So if it's deemed successful as a budget quote, then the end user can progress with that directly, and we still stay involved, but there would be NDAs and all that kind of stuff then. And as I say, this is something that we're already running and is very successful at the moment, and it's just a matter of, I suppose, sharing with the how the system works. Okay, so then for how to sign up for engineering professionals, we will go through this now on the website live as well. But what you do is you go through the process here. So it's what is the type of industry you're in, and again, so you're matched to the right people. The type of manual process that is to be automated. What is it? Is it palletizing? Is it welding, etc.? If you have a video or an existing user requirement specification, then you upload them, and they can be very, very useful at this stage. In particular, a video. Individual steps in the manual process. So this is where the video comes in. You would break down exactly how a process works. Okay, so sometimes if a person is doing a process that's to be automated, you forget, I suppose, how much the person is doing. Okay, so they might lift something up, they might turn it over, they might look at it and inspect it, and then they might put it down. Something like that looks like they're just picking it up and turning it over is not really as it seems, because when they inspect it, then you need to look at something like a vision system, which is a whole other kettle of fish. So I would highly recommend, if you have a video, that you put it in there if you're uploading a process to be automated. Individual steps in the manual process, yeah. Targets for production. So what are you looking for out of this? You know, are you looking to double your output? You know, what is the weight of your product? You know, all that kind of stuff. So think about all those different factors, critical success factors. So in other words, you know, when this is done, how will you know it was a success? Looking at return on investment, looking at production, you know, all of that type of thing. So why are you automating? Is it health and safety? Is it lack of staff? What is it? And will the automation, will this bring you to where you need to go? The budget then and the timeline, obviously, they're your expectations, and can that be met? And your contact details. So okay, so once the project has been submitted, it's then reviewed. The vendors are brought in based on their locations or what they've stipulated as what they're interested in too. In other words, it's almost like a dating site. You're matched up with the best vendors, and then the engineer can select one or more vendors out of what comes back to them to basically come back with their detailed designs and quotes. And we support that process all the way through. So quickly then, just to give you some background, I guess, in the sort of feedback we've been getting from this machine builder there, and I don't want to give out any information on who these people are. If anyone wants to know after, feel free to contact me, but because this is going out in a webinar, I think it's important not to give out people's names. But from an automation company, they were very happy to communicate with customers, and potential customers is always a good thing. In particular, a way for them to easily communicate their requirements from their desks. So we have to be mindful now that a lot of people are working from home, and you know, projects can get kicked down the road because people are not available. So this is a very good way to speed up the process. So just to such a time when vendors are able to come on site and sort of get a project off the ground much quicker. Then we spoke to another large machine builder who said that you know, it's important to open things up in Ireland to bring more work back, I suppose, into Ireland. You know, as I said, a lot of these projects are going to Germany or wherever at the moment. And you know, to a lot of people, a lot of staff are remote. He said as well that it's important. He said as well that competition will exist either way, so they might as well be in it because they will be coming up against the same you the same vendors either way. So the customers, this is a large food company in Ireland, who said that, it's very difficult. It was very difficult to get people on site during the pandemic. It's a brilliant idea to get 3 provisional quotes. So it saves a lot of time. And as he said, it saves time dealing with time wasters. And from what I've seen, like, engineers could spend 6 months or more, trying to get vendors tied down to even get a quotation. And this just saves all of that time and energy. Again, made the point that people are working from home and things can still be moved on regardless. Another very large pharmaceutical company that is a multinational, engineering manager was very, very happy with this. And I don't know if they're on the call, they might be on the call, but they said that they have 2 full-time staff, that their job is literally just to find vendors for automation. So those 2 highly qualified engineers were then able to be redeployed through using the system. So he also said that because there is a preferred vendors list for this company, while it can be hard to get on the vendors list, engineers, their engineering team would tend to just keep using the same machine builders, regardless of whether they're the right machine builders or not the right machine builders, because there could be other ones out there that have a closer fit. He said that it's a much better way to actually get the project done, in a better way that suits them better. And since then, we're actually working with that company. Again, getting 3 quotes is difficult. You can't always give it to the 3 people. So it's a way for them to kind of step back a little bit from engaging directly with the machine builders. So during the quotation process, so you're not making that relationship really between the end user and the machine builder until such a time as you've identified that you're happy with the price and you're happy with the process and you're happy with the design. So again, it saves all of that sort of stress and hassle in between. Okay, I'm just going to show you a video now of
in today's modern world of manufacturing, automation is becoming increasingly necessary. This is a result of multiple changes, such as lack of available workforce, health and safety issues, and lack of available space to expand. Manufacturing engineers are often faced with the task of designing and implementing a whole new automated system for their production processes. The increase in demand means that automation machine builders are often too busy to even look at new projects. Even if an engineer does find an available machine builder, they may not have extensive experience in the right sector or a big enough team to take on an extensive project. Automation Tenders is a web portal that has been designed specifically to solve this problem. The portal has a network of skilled and experienced machine builders to design, build, integrate and support industrial automation projects. Machine builders are from varied locations and have vast experience in all sectors from pharmaceutical to food and beyond. They are ready to tender for projects of all sizes. Automation Tenders is a free service and simple to use. Simply sign up and add your project specifications to the portal. Use the drop-down menus to select your preferences and upload a video of your manual process to ensure you are partnered with the right machine builder. The system is specifically designed to filter your information into a clear request for a quotation. After signing a confidentiality agreement, the machine builders then receive your project details and prepare a budget quote. Automation Tenders is safe, and once you have received your multiple quotes, you can proceed with a machine builder through the design and installation stages. Automation Tenders saves time and allows you to gain multiple quotes quickly and from interested, experienced and local suppliers, all for free. Sign up now on www.automationtenders.ie.
Okay, so
in today's modern world of manufacturing,
sorry, Emma, you're just muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just going to share the actual website itself now and go through how it works, okay? So, can you all see this? Can you see this?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so this is Automation Tenders, the website. When you open up the page, you're going to get this front page here. Your video that you just saw and the information I just gave you there as regards what it's all about. But what I will draw your attention to here, so as machine builders, you'll see live projects, okay? Now, we don't give huge amounts of information on these because obviously you need to be signed up and you need to be, you know, we need to have a relationship with you in order for you to get the information on the project. So once you're signed up, this will be very much free and open and ready and available for you to see. And you might ask, you know, what's in it for Reliance Automation? We don't, obviously you can sign up free for the moment. So if anyone's interested, definitely sign up now. But I would say what's in it for us is we work with these machine builders anyway, because we distribute the equipment and we have a wide range of equipment. Obviously what's in it for us is they buy the equipment from us. There's no markup, there's no extra markup, I would say, because they're part of, you know, automation tenders. It's just something that we use to facilitate the projects that we seek out or we get through us. So that's really the reason. So you can see there are different projects in different areas. If you go into About Us, you'll get all the information we spoke about already. If you go into Process Automation there, you can click in any area. It will give you information about certain, you know, processes and certain kind of areas of automation. The really important part here is actually over here is Submit a Project. Okay. So this area here is really for engineers with projects, and it's how you come to the projects actually, you know, becoming live on the website. So I would encourage anybody to go through this on their own in their own time and just make sure you write test or something in somewhere and you can submit away, because they will come through actually to us to validate before they actually go live. So I would definitely encourage that. So let's go through it as an idea, you know, as a kind of a test here. Okay, so let's pretend we're in the food and what industry are you in? You're in the food and beverage industry. Okay, so then it moves you on. Can you specify your project type even further? Yes, I would like to describe my project. So, okay, let's say we are palletizing bags of sugar. Okay, palletizing bags of sugar. Okay, next step. All right, so tell us what kind of process it is you want to automate. Now, it is material handling, but if you're not sure what it is, all you need to do is hover over the area here. So you can see here, transferring, sorting, packaging, labeling, bin picking, and palletizing is here under material handling. As you get used to using it anyway, it's so simple, it's so quick, and user-friendly as well. So for your convenience, please name your project. So we're going to say it's palletizing bags of sugar. Okay, now the important part is here. Describe your process. Okay, so as we said earlier, you need to describe your process, but you need to break it down in steps. So a great way to do this is to do it, supplement it with a video, because sometimes you'll miss certain things. So, okay, so let's say fill bags of sugar. I've done this already, so it's already here. So fill bags of sugar arrive via conveyor trays. That's automated. Next, bags of sugar are manually packed into a tray of 12. And that is not automated. Okay, next step. Trays put into a shrink wrapper. Okay, not automated. Okay, the wrapped trays are placed there. Sorry, on a pallet. This is also manual. And then pallet is wrapped and moved to warehouse. Okay. You can see there, this is obviously a very simple idea, but again, you can see the issue here is obviously going to be manual handling, you know, packing, lifting, the trays can be quite heavy if it's 12 bags of sugar. Okay, so add further explanation. So we'll say, you know, manual process to be automated due to manual handling. Okay, so you can upload your video here. I won't do that at the minute, but you can, and it's very simple. Select your files and there. Okay, now full-time operators. How many full-time operators work in the process? So we're saying we have people taking bags and putting them into the tray, taking the tray, putting it into the shrink wrapper, taking it out of the shrink wrapper and putting it on the pallet. So we'll say 3 people. Number of shifts, you could have 2 shifts. We'll say there's 2 shifts, there could be 3 shifts, whatever. Okay, so I mean, you can see there, if you had 3 people, this is just how we would look at it from our side, okay, as you know, from a machine builder's point of view. Okay, if you have 3 full-time employees that we'll say they're making 40,000 euros, 120 euros on 2 shifts, 240. You could probably quite easily you know, use 240 to get return on investment within a year, off the top of my head, to make that a feasible project. So the number of full-time employees that are expected to work in this process after automation, we would say 0. You'd like that to work as a lights out operation, or as something that can just run away on its own. If you are a company that is pelletizing sugar, don't take my word for it. You'll have to talk to the engineers. Okay, so how many manufactured units are passing through the process? So we'll say we're doing 12. We'll say we're doing 1 tray of sugar every 5 minutes. So what's that? 12 an hour, isn't it? How many manufactured units do you expect to pass through? So we could probably double that. We're saying we're going to get double the outcome there. We want to up it to 24 in the same time. Okay. So what are your goals for the material handling? What are your goals here? I want better data. No. I want to improve. Yeah. I want to improve the environment. I want to increase productivity. Yeah. We want to go from 12 to 24 trays. I want to reduce costs. I want to use less consumables. Well, we're not going to reduce costs because we're probably going to redeploy those 3 people to a more meaningful task. I want to improve product quality and uniformity. No, because it won't be, it's only packaging. Increase capacity. I want to allocate more meaningful tasks. Yes, reduce manual handling. Okay, so just some of the reasons. So your explanation, it's manual handling, causing, you know, it could be causing to be out sick or something like that. Okay. So we move on to the next step. Okay, so you need to put in where you're from here, because oftentimes, you know, you might look for somebody local. A lot of companies, I'm just going to put in Tipperary because that's where I am. Okay, so we're going to say Tipperary, and we're going to say I'm going to do it within the year. So I would say that anyone that is looking to automate, you would really want to be kind of looking at it well before the year, especially if it's something like that's going to need an industrial robot, and there's a lot of programming and there's a lot of planning and design. Yes, for a collaborative application, you can do it much quicker because you can program it yourself. It's way quicker to deploy, and even the times, the order and delivery times are a little bit quicker. I would say as well, actually, on that, you know, the Nachi robots that we have are ex stock in Germany, so they can be got within 2 weeks, because a lot of the other industrial robot brands, there's huge deadlines and timelines. I think it's 6 months for some of them. It's a lot more for others, because of the chip shortage. But again, something else, that's a side note that we can talk about later. So further explanation of your time frame, you could say large order due to begin in a year. So in other words, you need to meet demand. Okay. Okay. So I would like to keep my request open, or you can set a deadline for applications. And you can just, I'm just going to fill in my own details here. Just, yeah, you're just going to fill in your details there as to And there's my email if anybody wants it. You can fill in all your own information there, obviously, so that you can be contacted. And that won't be going out in the public domain, by the way. That'll be just coming through to us. Okay, so then you're reviewing your process. What I would say down here, by the way, on describe your process, and I'm going to make this very quick because I realize you're nearly coming close to the end of the webinar. We would see here, like, questions that would come up from the what you've done here. Fill bags of sugar arrive in a conveyor, but what orientation are they arriving in? Or what orientation are they to be packed in? Other questions like that will come up as we go along, and clarification will be needed. So it's just something else to think about. Then it's just a case of submitting it, and that's kind of it. So look, that's the end of, I suppose, my talk on automation tenders. I hope I've answered most of your questions already, but I'll open it up to questions and I'll pass it back to Niamh there. Thanks very much. You're on mute there, Niamh.
Sorry, after I had just pulled you up on it. So yeah, just as I was saying, thank you very much for the presentation, and I really hope that some of you have taken some of that information and maybe thought about how you might be able to use it in your own work models. And as Emma said, we will share the details to contact Emma with any questions, etc. Just, we have 4 minutes left there, so there are 3 questions in the Q&A which we'll just try to get to there. So Emma, there's a question from Gareth Clegg. He's wondering, how do you manage and handle privacy and non-disclosure type of projects?
Yeah, it's a good question, I would say, Gareth. And it is a question that we asked actually when we did a bit of market research with the end users at the time. How do you feel about NDAs? And they kind of said, look, we'd rather have the ease of use and the, we'd rather have the convenience of using it without worrying about NDAs. So how we manage it is, we don't give the information of the company out. We work directly with those end users, and when the budget quote is submitted and the end user says, yeah, I like the idea of the budget quote, I like the idea of the information, etc., then NDAs are signed, or they can be signed earlier, whatever you want. But I would say the information comes directly to us at Automation Tenders. It is not shared in the public domain. We then work with our 2 or 3 partners that we selected, and we already have NDAs with those partners anyway. So that would cover you, and then you can have a separate NDA if you want, or you can have an NDA with us beforehand, or whatever it is. But that's the way it's managed. It doesn't go out in the public domain. It comes directly to us only. I hope that answers the question.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think so. Just Debussy here has a question about site visits. So he says site visits to manufacturing plants would be necessary to be certain of the process description. Do you visit the plants?
Yeah, another good question. Yes, we do. A lot of the times, like, the projects that go up would be after we visit the plants. So yes, we do. Or if somebody puts up a project and puts a note in underneath to say, look, we really think you need to visit the site here to see, I understand that you might need to see the size of the site, or you might need to see the process before or after. Yes, we do visit the site 100%. Yeah.
Brilliant. And just from Eamon here, so he said this is a great idea, which I agree, and continues its success with it. Is there any scope for machine or automation designers, aka engineers, to get involved in the tendering process?
Yes, Eamon, there always is, and thank you for the comment. There always is, and look, you can contact me directly there, and we can have a chat about that separately.
Excellent. And then just the last question there again from Debussy. So what is the time limit between design and production of the robots?
Depends on it depends on the project. If it's an industrial project and it's very, very complex, it could be anything. Look, it could be 6 months. It could be, it depends on the deadline for when it needs to be done too. It's going to depend on, what kind of time the machine builders have, what other projects they have on. But generally, like at the start of a project, before there's a contract signed, the deadline is at that stage identified. With the collaborative robots, or if you're self-integrating, it's much faster. Like, you know, we could meet a company or go out on site and do a site visit, and, you know, it could be a month later that they have deployed a robot to do a job. But certainly for industrial robots, a lot faster and a lot more complex.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions answered, Emma. So, again, just really want to thank you for the presentation today, and thank you to everyone in attendance. To close off, first of all, that was the Emerging Trends in Digital Engineering series for 2022. But be sure that the planning is underway for our 2023 series, and we will be in touch with you about that. As mentioned before, the recording will be out to you as soon as possible. And if you have any questions for Emma, she had shared her email there, but if you didn't manage to catch that, please don't hesitate to get in contact with myself. And yeah, with that, have a very good day, everyone, and thank you for attending.
Thanks.